Welcome to this episode of Chattin With Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the Hell's Angel that was arrested and charged with pimping out his wife. So he's been sentenced, but we're going to go over the case real quick. Before we get started, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell your mother's brother's sister's friend about Chattin With Staxx, the dopest motorcycle content on YouTube. Let's get into it. Today, we're talking about a wild story about this man who was pimping out his wife. He was a Hell's Angel leader in Sweden, and he got busted. We talked about this last month, but now he's been sentenced, so we're going to get into the story. Starts off like this. Hell's Angel leader accused of forcing his wife into the S trade with 120 men. Former high-ranking member of the Hell's Angels motorcycle club is standing trial in Sweden. Prosecutors describe as one of the country's most disturbing examples of long-term S exploitation, coercion, control. The 62-year-old defendant, they say here, who is not identified, but I do identify him in the next report. He's a Swedish media guidelines, I guess, that they couldn't release the name yet. He appeared before the court facing series of criminal charges, including aggravated pimping, R, attempted R, S, assault, and unlawful coercion. According to prosecutors, the accused orchestrated years-long operation in which he allegedly forced his wife to engage in SX with approximately 120 different men in exchange for money, while maintaining strict control over nearly every aspect of her life. This case has shocked Sweden and drawn comparisons to the internationally publicized trial of French offender Dominique Pelicot, whose crime sparked worldwide outrage and renewed conversation about coercive abuse hidden behind closed doors. Prosecutors allege years of ruthless exploitation. The court proceedings revealed allegations that the operation ran from August 2022 until October 2025. The investigation began after women reported her husband to police in northern Sweden, leading to his arrest and a sweeping criminal inquiry. Prosecutors described the relationship as built on fear, intimidation, and manipulation. According to the indictment, the defendant allegedly created and managed prostitution enterprise centered around his wife, placing online advertisements, coordinated appointments, communicating with clients, and collecting the proceeds from the encounters. Authorities estimate that during the operation, it generated about $500,000 in Swedish money, the equivalent to $53,700 in the U.S. currency. The prosecution contends the accused exercised substantial control over the business while profiting from his wife's exploitation. The allegations extend far beyond just pimping. The aggravated pimping charges formed the foundation of the case. Prosecutors argued the alleged crimes went much further. The defendant faces 8 counts of R, 4 counts of attempted R. Under Swedish law, prosecutors allege the offenses occurred when the accused ignored the victim's stated boundaries, forced her to participate in S encounters against her wishes, and compelled her to perform S acts for online content without her consent. Investigators allege on multiple occasions the woman explicitly objected to certain clients and activities, but was pressured or forced to proceed anyways. The court will ultimately determine whether those allegations meet the legal threshold for R under Swedish consent-based laws. Life under control and fear. One of the most disturbing aspects of the prosecution's case involves allegations of coerced control. Prosecutors told the court that the victim lived under constant fear throughout the alleged exploitation. According to the court filings, she was allegedly kept under the influence of drugs and alcohol for extended periods and repeatedly threatened when she attempted to resist. Prosecution claims that the defendant warned her not to leave and allegedly threatened to her if she exposed his activity. At one point, prosecutors allege he warned her not to release the monster. A statement they argued reflected a pattern of intimidation designed to keep her compliant. Domestic abuse experts note that such threats are often center component of long-term coercive relationship, making it difficult for victims to seek help or escape. More than 100 buyers were identified. The investigation extended far beyond the accused. Swedish authorities identified approximately 120 men who allegedly purchased X services through the operation. Under Swedish law, buying S is illegal, but while selling S is not. I mean, you can't make this up. As a result, the investigators pursued the clients involved. At least 26 men have already faced criminal charges related to purchasing S services, with additional cases reportedly reviewed by authority. A larger number of alleged buyers has intensified the public's debate about Swedish approach to combating prostitution and human exploitation. Defense rejects these allegations. The defendant has denied all criminal wrongdoing. His attorney acknowledged that his client assisted with the described as technical administrator aspects of his wife's activities, but rejected the claim that he forced her into prostitution or used violence and intimidation. The defense argues the relationship and business arrangements were consensual, but the prosecutors say that was not the case. Defense lawyers have also challenged the elements of evidence presented by the investigators, arguing that prosecutors have failed to prove key allegations beyond a reasonable doubt. Former motorcycle club figure, he has drawn attention, adding to public's interest. The defendant is a history of a former senior figure associated with the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club. Although the criminal charges are unrelated to motorcycle club activities, the connection has fueled media coverage throughout Sweden and internationally. Authorities have not alleged the motorcycle club itself was involved in the alleged offenses. However, the defendant's background became part of a broader narrative surrounding the trial. And let me make this clear. The Hells Angels were not involved with this situation, but he was a high-ranking member. The nation is watching closely. The proceedings have become one of Sweden's most closely watched and followed criminal cases in recent years. Women rights advocates, legal experts, and victim support organizations have pointed to the trial as a significant test of Swedish's laws regarding consent, exploitation, and coercion. The prosecutors and the case represents effort to hold accountable the individuals described as having systematically exploited vulnerable victims for years. For the defense, it is a matter of challenging the allegations they insist are unsupported by insufficient evidence. The testimony continues in court. The nation awaits to see whether the court will accept the prosecution's portrayal or the defense's argument that the allegations are overstated. What do you think the outcome was? Well, I'm going to tell you the outcome because I have it here. This case just came to a close, and the husband who allegedly sold his wife to hundreds of men gets more than 4 years in prison. That's what he got. He got 4 years in prison. Can you believe this? 4 years in prison he got. It's insane. I mean, you can't make this up. Swedish court has handed down a prison sentence to the man accused of orchestrating one of the country's most disturbing exploitation cases in recent memory. The case has drawn comparisons to crimes committed by a French offender that shocked the nation. The court sentenced 60-year-old Thomas Runston to 4 years and 5 months in prison after finding him guilty of aggravated pimping, unlawful threats, and other offenses connected to the exploitations of his wife over a period spanning several years. Prosecutors allege Runston created and controlled an extensive operation in which his wife was forced to engage in acts with hundreds of men for money, while he managed communications, arranged meetings, and benefited financially from the activity. The case has generated intense public debate across Sweden, not only because of the scale of the alleged abuse, but also because of the court's decision to acquit Runson over several R-related charges. This is years of alleged exploitation. According to the court's finding, the exploitation operation ran for approximately 3 years and involving a staggering number of encounters. Investigators estimated that the victim compelled to have relations with between 250 and 275 men that time. Wow. The court documents revealed the activities expanded beyond physical encounters. Authorities said the woman was also forced to participate in online performances and other arranged encounters organized by her husband. The court concluded that Runson was not a passive participant in the driving force behind the operation. The judge found that he initiated the activity, coordinated contracts with buyers, handled logistics, exercised significant control over the agreements. According to the ruling, he played a central role in maintaining the exploitation networks and ensuring that this kept going on for several years. The controversial acquittals. Despite the conviction, the court declined to convict Runson on 8 separate R charges sought by prosecutors. Judges stated that in several instances, the evidence presented did not conclusively establish a lack of consent under Swedish legal standards. And other allegations in the court found it could not determine with significant certainty exactly what acts had occurred. The acquittal immediately became one of the most controversial aspects of the trial. Critics argue that the overall circumstances, coercion, and control should have supported the broader convictions, while legal experts noted that the criminal courts must meet strict evidentiary standards before imposing convictions of the most serious charges. This involved more than 100 men, and they were being investigated. The investigation extended far beyond Runson himself. Authorities initially examined the conduct of more than 100 individuals suspected of purchasing services connected to the operation. Ultimately, 28 people were convicted of offenses related to buying services. Most received fines and lesser penalties, although a small number received custodial sentences. Beneath the investigation highlighted the scale of exploitation networks, a challenge faced by investigators attempting to identify and prosecute all participants. Compensation awarded to the victim. In addition to the prison sentence, the court ordered Runson to pay approximately $18,000 in damages to his wife for physical, emotional, and psychological harm she suffered. So, she's going to get a bunch of money for this situation. Advocates for the victim of exploitation noted financial compensation can never fully repair the years of trauma, but acknowledge its importance as part of the legal process. The victim's identity has not been publicly disclosed. This guy had a troubling criminal history. Court proceedings also revealed that Runson had a criminal history involving violence and coercive behavior. Reports presented during the trial indicated that his prior conviction related to violent offenses had previously been linked to outlaw motorcycle club circles. While those past associations were not the primary focus of the trial, prosecutors argued they provided context regarding the defendant's history of conduct. This is a case that shocked Sweden. The investigation itself faced setbacks before ultimately leading to convictions. Authorities initially closed the case several years ago, but it was later reopened following additional evidence and investigative developments. The decision ultimately resulted in one of Sweden's most closely watched criminal proceedings in years. For many observers, the case has become a symbol for the difficulties involved in identifying coercive encounters, particularly when it occurs within relationships where manipulation, intimidation, and financial control can blur traditional understandings of consent. While the prison sentence brings the criminal proceedings closer to an end, the broader conversation sparked by the case about exploitation, accountability, and the victim's protection are likely to continue long after courtroom door closes. So what do you guys think about this case? I think it's crazy that someone would put their wife through that. It's just insane. But it takes all kinds to make the world go around, right? But if you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad, start your own podcast. Peace.